Good afternoon and welcome to the first football game here on Greyhound TV alongside Jack Tortolani. I am Essex Thayer, and we have the Greyhounds today as they open up against the Maroons from Episcopal from Alexandria, Virginia. And Jack, it's been a tough start to the season for the Greyhounds. They're coming out here today 0-3, but what do you think they can do today to get a win here against the Maroons?
Well, you know what, Essex, after watching them last year, I think anything's possible for the Hounds. Obviously the season started rather tough for them last year, starting off with quite a few wins. It looked like it could be another losing season for the Hounds. However, they were able to bounce back and eventually find themselves in the MIA championship. So, you know, in a game like today, you're at home again against a team like Episcopal who's playing their first game of the season. I expect them to come out firing, but I know that Episcopal is going to match their hype as well. So I expect to see Gilman look to take over the game emotionally and then look to go from there.
And as you said, a similar start as we are going to quiet down here for the national anthem. And we are back here at the conclusion of the national anthem. And as I was saying, Jack, this definitely is a new year for this Greyhounds team, but it is certainly similar to what we saw last year with some certain, outliers for sure. Gilman does have a new head coach. This is the first year of the Nick Bach era for the Gilman Greyhounds. And Jack, Nick Bach comes from Lawrenceville, Georgia. He coached at Mountain View High School.
Yes, indeed. He was the head coach there for 3 years and was able to bring his team to the state playoffs for the first time in school history. In addition, he's reached ninth in the state. Their team reached ninth in the state in Georgia, and they won an Atlanta High School. He won an Atlanta High School Coach of the Week.
And he also won a Region 6 Coach of the Year and then a Gwinnett County Coach of the Year.
And I completely agree. I mean, I cannot be more excited to be watching to see what the new coach will bring, whether it'll be more in terms of play style and scheme or whether maybe he'll try to continue what the Hounds had last year. I mean, obviously they did graduate some talent and players like Brandon Madison, Pernell Hill, and others. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with the team this year.
And in the same boat, actually, is Episcopal. They have a first-year head coach as well, Mark Morrows, who hails from Asheville, North Carolina. And we are set to kick off here at Gilman. Episcopal with their first game of the season and Gilman with their fourth. It's Paul Pivaroto with the kickoff.
Back to return, it seems we have Jermaine Conyers and Kyrie Jones.
Pivaroto with the short kickoff, fielded by Jones. Jones takes it to the right, gets a nice lane there, and is tackled at about the 20-yard line. So a 20-yard return for number 1, Kyrie Jones. And Gilman is going to start the game on offense with their new starting quarterback, Josh Ettlinger.
Nice return there by Jones, able to split up field on a dime right there. As you can see, though, number 4 on Episcopal, he'll be one player we're watching today. Litchfield Adjavon, Notre Dame commit for the Maroons.
And so out comes the Gilman offense, led by senior quarterback Josh Ettlinger. It looks like starting in the backfield as well for the Greyhounds is going to be another senior, Cavante Beard. Also something notable here, Jack, a new center for the Greyhounds. It's now going to be Charlie Pope instead of junior Stephen Gladys. Ettlinger under center, hands it off to Cavante Beard. A nice hole there for Beard as he gets about 5 yards. A nice first run to start off there for Cavante.
Solid run there. Notice that Gilman went with 2 tight ends in that formation. Most teams, if you watch enough football, you'll notice that a run is usually a safe bet to start. And if you get, looks like 5 yards like the Hounds just got, I'd go right back to the run again.
Ettlinger's going to start his 2nd down and 5, back under center again with Beard in the eye. Ettlinger going to once again hand it off to Beard, and this time he's bottled up by the Maroon defense. If at all, with forward progression, he might have gotten back there to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be roughly 3rd and 5 from there, from the Gilman 25. It's going to be 3rd down and 4 here for the Greyhounds, and it looks like Josh Ettlinger is going to back up into the shotgun.
Ettlinger with trips to his right.
It's a passing down here for Ettlinger. He keeps the ball on the play action, tries to take it for himself, and gets lit up just short of the yard to make line. And it looks like Ettlinger is going to be a little short, and Nick Bach is going to bring out the punt team. A nice play action there, Jack, by Ettlinger, selling on the run, but he got laid out by defenseman there for the Maroons, number 24. That's Ben Lee. On to punt here, Jed Brummett, the senior. And behind to return for the Maroons, number 7, Salim Turner Muhammad. That one a little short there from Brummett. And recovered by Isaac Lee.
High arcing punt there, won't get quite as far as the Hounds would have liked. Set up the Episcopal Maroons with great field position at the 50.
And so now the Maroons offense coming out for the first time, led by their sophomore quarterback, Emmett Morehead from Woodside, California.
Did you see the starting defensive line for the Hounds? Mateus Carroll, Devin Greenwich, and Jed Brummett. Interesting to see what they're able to do today.
Morehead, starts off in the shotgun, hands it off to his man, number 43, Bear Matheson, on the run. And he's going to lose about a yard there on the pitch. Matheson bottled up by numerous Gilman defenders. Looks like Episcopal is going to go into a bit of a hurry-up offense here, with once again their quarterback Morehead in the shotgun and Matheson to his left. Trips to Matheson's left. One will cross across. Morehead takes it and passes it to his left to Elijah Gaines, but Gaines lets that one slip by. It's going to be 3rd and 10 for the Maroons.
Seen a little bit like number 11 for the Maroons. Elijah Gaines heard footsteps a little bit there. Number 5, George Castlesmith. Number 1, Kyrie Jones closing in to make the tackle had he had caught that ball.
A defensive shift here for the Greyhounds as Morehead once again is in the shotgun, although Matheson this time to his right. The Greyhounds stacking the box here defensively, and they go with
Brummett's
the heavy blitz.
Brummett.
And that's Jed Brummett, as Jack said on the sack there. You could tell the Greyhounds were stacking the box on 3rd down, and Jed Brummett slipped through the offensive line to take down Morehead. So a nice defensive stand there, Jack, for Gilman's first possession. And the Maroons are going to have to punt.
Great way to start for the Hounds. The first possession for the Maroons results in just negative 10 yards. Great play there by Brummett, able to fight his way through the offensive line, bring the quarterback down.
Punting also for the Maroons. The kicker, Paul Pivaroto, the senior who hails from Chevy Chase, Maryland. So back in his home state is Pivaroto. Back to return, Kyrie Jones. A little high there for Pivaroto. He's able to get it. And he fumbles there. The ball's on the ground.
Hounds got it.
And the Hounds have a fumble recovery. In there and a little excited is George Castlesmith. He was one of the first ones in there, along with number 56, Hank Bethel.
Huge play right there for the Hounds. Although not really technically forcing the muffed kick, they were able to force the fumble. If you're the kicker there for Episcopal, though, you really just got to be thinking, you know what, I muffed the snap. I just got to secure the ball and go down. Now, because of it, Hounds are about 5 yards closer to the goal line than they would have been had he gone down and in great field position.
In that situation, Jack, when the kicker tries to kick that one away, it usually just goes from bad to worse, and it did there for Pivaroto. So with fantastic field position, Josh Ettlinger is going to start this drive in the shotgun. Finds his man there on the right side, and he's in.
Conyers.
That's Jermaine Conyers. It looks like he's actually going to be just a little bit short of the touchdown line.
Yes, I believe you're right. They are calling him short.
It's a little tough to see the yard lines on this field, as I'm sure most of you Gilman fans know. This is not the traditional Gilman football field, as the normal football field is currently under construction. So
yes, Brown Field, which you will see to the left of your screen as we go back, is currently under construction.
Ettlinger hands it off to Conyers once again in the eye. And it looks like once again Conyers is going to be short.
From here, it looks like the Hounds are about 3 or 4 yards away from the goal line. Run there, not going to work. Let's see if they go to the air here.
So second down and about 5 yards to go for the Greyhounds offense, as the clock ticks towards 7:30 in the first quarter.
Smart call by the Hounds here. I would have done the same thing. Run doesn't work, and you're in this odd spot where you're about 3 yards away. It's tough to punch that in as a run. If I'm the Hounds here, I probably start Ettlinger in shotgun. I'm giving a draw to the running back, or I'm rolling him out and getting him moving. Look to make a simple pass in the air. But worst comes to worst, you're so close. You're probably in field goal range, or for high school football. I mean, you're in high school. You're in field goal range. I'd say you look for something, but you absolutely do not force anything. You've been given. It's a gift that they're as close as they are, and I'd say you just got to be smart and look to punch it in.
Absolutely. And Gilman calling the first timeout to talk this one over. It'll be interesting, Jack, to see here if they go for 2 straight runs here on second down to try and put the ball in, or if they're going to let Ettlinger toss one to try and get it in the end zone. If not, I'm sure that they'll probably settle for a field goal instead of going for it on fourth. Nick Bach usually tries to just get points on the board as opposed for going for everything.
Number 20, Zach Dixon, in right now, one of the star players for this Gilman team. And Ettlinger is actually going to start under center. I wouldn't be surprised they hand off to Dixon here.
So Ettlinger under center here. There is a flag, and it's going to be false start on the Gilman line.
That's tough right there for the Hounds. False start when you're as close as they are. It's just shooting yourself in the foot. But it looks like as quick as they gotten back to the line, they're going to run the same play here.
So second and 10 for the Greyhounds. Ettlinger under center. He's going to hand it off to Dixon. And it looks like Zach Dixon is going to be a half yard.
Wow. I'd go back to the same play again. Dixon obviously hit the hole hard there to the left. Wasn't quite able to punch it in, but he runs hard enough that no one's going to be able to stand him up at the line. So I'd run the same play right back to him.
And so now a critical down here for the Greyhounds with third and about 1 left for the touchdown. Ettlinger once again hands it off to Dixon. It's going to be a close call, and it looks like he's going to be called short.
Wow.
So it's going to be about 4th and a few inches for the Greyhounds, as they're unable to punch it in the first 3 downs. And it looks like Nick Bach is going to keep his offense on the field here, bringing in some of his big men along with Devin Grinnage.
Looks like they're going to kick it. Brummett is in and lining up. Yep, take the points. I don't mind it early on. If Episcopal gets a stop here, that can be a huge momentum changer. And this game is all about momentum, so not surprised here by Bach's call to kick this.
Looked like he was bringing in Brummett as a lineman, but in fact he was coming on to kick the field goal. Brummett for the first points of the day, and that one is good. So Gilman is on the board, 3-0 with 6:13 left in this first quarter. And a pretty nice start here for the Greyhounds. At least defensively, they were able to get the Maroons off the field from their first possession, and then that special teams play could not have gone any better, as the Hounds got a great place to start their possession, but were only able to come out of it with a field goal.
Yeah, as you said, only able to come out with a field goal, and you know that is tough when you get such great field position. It's tough not to be able to punch it in, but you know what? I mean, the way the Hounds have started, rarely this season have they started out ahead. So I think you got to look at it as a positive that you were able to put some drives together early on and get points on the board.
And so now Gilman's going to kick it back off to Episcopal with Jed Brummett, who kicked it through the uprights, going to do the duties once again. Back returning for the Maroons, number 7, Salim Turner Muhammad, and number 2, Jamal Mensah. Brummett with the pooch kick there. A really nice roll there, and recovered by number 24, Ben Lee.
I like the pooch kick there. Great call. Number 1 for the Hounds, Kyrie Jones, and number 2, Jameer Roberts as well were in on that play. It looked like they were going to have a shot at that ball, but great job by number 24 in the Maroons, Ben Lee, able to pick that up on his first try.
And so now the Maroons offense will get their second chance to try and get points on the board. In their first possession, it was pretty fruitless as they ended with about negative 10 yards in total offense, coming off of a sack from Jed Brummett.
Number 72, nose tackle Devin Greenwich, getting some more reps than we've seen this season. Looking forward to seeing him get a chance to play.
Morehead takes it in the shotgun and hands it off to Matheson, and he's going to get eaten up by that Greyhounds defensive line led by Cavante Beard, who came in from the inside linebacker position. If at all, he's going to gain a yard or two. It looks like the referees are going to give him 2nd and 8. Morehead once again lining up in the shotgun as he's done almost every play so far. This time Matheson to his right. Morehead with the hard count. Not able to draw Gilman off sides. He's going to readjust. Has 4 wide receivers. 2 to his right, 2 to his left. He takes it in the shotgun, looks right, and does not find his man there. That's going to be incomplete. Looking for number 23, Ethan Yip. And interesting, just to mention quickly, a little fun fact. Episcopal, being a boarding school, has a lot of international players. Yip, who that intended pass was to, is from Surrey, Canada. So there are a couple kids out from Canada here, Jack, and I believe, if I am counting correctly, 3 or 4 from China.
It's crazy. I've never seen so many international players on one team. I mean, obviously it's not a surprise as a boarding school, but you rarely see, especially kids from China who are coming to our playing football in America.
Morehead, that looks like a fumble there from Morehead, and that's going to be a Gilman recovery. There was a flag that came down before it, but if that flag is on Episcopal, Gilman recovered the fumble off of Morehead as he went to his left. It looked like that one was recovered by Zachary Franks. So we'll see what the call is from the referee. And it looks like it's going to be a holding on that Episcopal offense. So it's going to be another turnover for the Maroons, and Gilman will once again get nice field position to start their 3rd drive.
Can't be happier than the Hounds are right now. 2 forced turnovers to start the game.
And now Josh Ettlinger will lead his team out again for their 3rd drive. And the Greyhounds up 3-0. Watch out here for Daniel DeLeon to Ettlinger's left, lining up in the slot position. Barksdale takes the one on the slip through. There's going to be a flag, though. Barksdale was there on the end around. That was actually Jameer Roberts who took the run there on the end around.
I like the call there, number 43, Daniel DeLeon. You mentioned him prior to the play. Fullback who usually when you see a predominantly blocking player lined up in the slot like that, you can expect run, especially with the Hounds who put their receivers in motion so often.
That has been something we've seen actually quite a bit throughout this game, Jack, is Roberts go on the end around, but that was the first time that Ettlinger handed it off to him. Ettlinger here with 1st and 20 in the shotgun. Looks to his left to Jameer Roberts, and that one's going to be incomplete.
Had Roberts caught that ball, I still don't believe there was much way to go. Episcopal's defense swarming to that far side.
I'm sure he wasn't intending to, Jack, but it was almost advantageous for the Hounds that Roberts let that one go, because it was pretty obvious that he was going to lose a few yards there. He had 2 or 3 Episcopal Maroons coming after him. Now it's 2nd and 20 for the Greyhounds. Etlinger this time going to line up under center with Jermaine Conyers in the eye.
Wouldn't be surprised they go deep here.
Kyrie Jones crosses.
Watch your back. Horse collar. Wow, surprising no call there from our angle. We had a great view. It seemed as if the Episcopal defender just grabbed Etlinger by the back of his shoulder pads and brought him down.
No call there from the referee, so it's going to be a sack on Etlinger there. He was taken down by number 5, Bryce Steele, the sophomore defensive back from Raleigh, North Carolina.
I think now here, Essex, on 3rd and over 20, you maybe do a draw here, but you're not looking to get this whole first down. You probably just punt it away and keep good field position or pin them back.
An incomplete pass there from Etlinger.
I believe it was complete, actually.
A tough angle there. It was complete, too.
Yeah, we couldn't see it, but not much for Kyrie Jones to do besides just catch that ball, as it was pretty low, and he had to just catch it as he slid to the ground.
But it looks like on 4th and 15, the Greyhounds aren't in kicking range, so they're going to go for it on 4th down.
Number 11 in the slot, James Schloter, the senior. Look to see something out of him today, first game back.
Etlinger in the shotgun, looks to his left, looking for Jameer Roberts, and that one's intercepted. Roberts really didn't have a chance there. The height advantage, was heavily favored to the cornerback, and he ate that one up.
As although it's never great to throw an interception, I actually don't mind that play. I mean, it was picked off, but Roberts was able to bring down his man inside the 2, so it's just as good as a perfectly placed punt. So on 4th down, I really don't mind that. I think a jump ball to the corner like that is a good call.
That is, and it was almost, it seemed like a play where if Jameer Roberts came down with that one, then that's great. But if he didn't, then that's okay too. On the interception there was number 12, South Wallace from Charleston, South Carolina. So the Maroons will now get another chance at offense here. Their last possession did not end so well. Quarterback Morehead fumbling it inside his own territory. And this time he's going to be inside his own red zone, starting at about the 3-yard line.
As you can see, Episcopal set up in the eye with an extra fullback here. I would expect run. Get yourself out of the hole they're in right now inside the 2.
Morehead under center, hands it off to Matheson, but he's eaten up very quickly at the line. That time by number 15, Mateus Carroll.
Great job by Carroll and 67, Gage Kreitz, able to beat their men and wrap up the Episcopal running back at the line of scrimmage.
So no gain there for the Maroons, as it's going to be 2nd down and 10 from the 3 once again, and Morehead under center. He has 3 running backs behind him. Going to go for the play action there, looking to his right, and incomplete there, looking for... He was looking for Salim Turner Muhammad there, but it went incomplete. But there is going to be a flag on the play.
It'll be interesting to see how this works out. Essex, I thought for sure, was great coverage by Jameer Roberts. And if anything, it was offensive pass interference, a little bit of push-off by number 8 on this Episcopal team, who we actually do not have listed on our rosters. Either way, if this is somehow on Gilman, I'd be astounded.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say that intended receiver was, in fact, number 9, Christian Storch, a wide receiver. He's a junior out of Raleigh. There is no number 8 on the Episcopal roster, so we're assuming there's some sort of mistake there. But a pass interference nonetheless on the Greyhounds, so the Episcopal Maroons are going to get a fresh set of downs and restart once again right about at the 20 or so yard line. Morehead under center. Pitches it to his left. That's Matheson, who finds quite a bit of a hole and is going to be taken down by Cavante Beard for a gain of about 8.
Matheson there was able to do a great job of avoiding the first tackle and getting to the second level. Good spin move there, earns him about 4 extra yards.
Morehead under center once again. Hands it off quickly. There was a fumble there as Rob Ford.
Kreitz comes out with it.
The second, I didn't even know the ball was fumbled, but one of the assistant coaches for the Greyhounds, Robert Ford, yelled fumble looking at the line. And surely enough, the ball was out there and Gilman recovered.
Number 67, Gage Kreitz, able to just be in the right place at the right time. I saw the ball go down, but didn't see who had it until he came out of the pile with no helmet on, but he had the ball in hand.
And so certainly some problems on offense for Episcopal thus far with 2 fumbles and a muffed punt. It's going to be Jermaine Conyers in the Wildcat. He's going to go to his left and get a decent chunk of yards, possibly about 6. As Josh Etlinger staying on the bench for now. Gilman running in a bit of the Wildcat formation here. That time it was Jermaine Conyers, a sophomore, and it looks like he's going to do so again. Conyers taking the ball once again, had the opportunity to hand it off to Roberts, but took it himself. It's actually something very similar to what we saw last year, Jack, with Brandon Madison, who would almost run that same exact play in the Wildcat and would look to hand it off to someone coming on the end round and either give it off to him or option to take it himself.
Yes, I remember watching that play time and time again last year. Essex proved to be one of the most effective plays the Hounds had in their playbook. One of the key reasons why I think they were able to make it as far as they did.
So Conyers going to take it again for the 3rd time, this time handing it off to Roberts on the same play. And that one's going to be close to the yard-to-gain line. It's either going to be a first down for the Greyhounds or 4th and short. And it looks like the referees are going to call it 4th down. We're going to call it about 4th and a yard. And the Greyhounds are going to stay on the field. Conyers in the Wildcat once again, and he was able to draw him off there. Conyers with the nice hard count there, able to draw a Maroon off the line.
Smart play call there by the Hounds, able to go with the hard count. I expected if they didn't get him to jump off sides there, they probably could have or would have, called a timeout and probably ended up punting that ball away or possibly going for the field goal. However, smart play call there, got him off sides.
So it looks like head coach Nick Bach is sticking with Conyers in the Wildcat throughout this drive. Finds his man there on the right side. That's Cavante Beard on the run, the triple option there. Could have taken it himself, given it to Roberts, or given it to Beard, and he chose the 3rd. Beard getting a really nice chunk of yards there, about 8. So it's going to be 2nd and 2 as the clock ticks under 30 seconds here at Gilman. The Hounds are at about the 10-yard line, and Conyers is once again going to stick in the Wildcat. Conyers going to take him himself, and that one is a touchdown for Jermaine Conyers coming out of the Wildcat formation. The Greyhounds are up 9-0.
15 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Can't be bothered by the fact that you're up 10-0 if you're the Hounds against a very capable Episcopal team. I mean, defense starts, forces 3 fumbles, and you end up with 2 scores on 3 possessions.
Something that certainly the head coach for the Maroons, Mark Moros, is going to be talking about at the end of this quarter here is those fumbles that have occurred on offense. Those are going to have to stop if the Maroons want to stay in this game.
Indeed, indeed. And I've said it before. We were talking about this play calling for the Hounds. That spin move out of the Wildcat is one of the most effective offensive plays I've ever seen the Hounds run. So it's great to see him able to drive 25, 30, 35 yards and punch these touchdowns in.
And Jed Brummett with the soaring kick there. And it happened to go through the uprights. So the Greyhounds are up 10-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Little side note here: if you're currently at the game, you would notice that on the sideline for the Gilman for the Hounds, wearing an all camouflage outfit right now is actually Cyrus Jones, one of the brothers of Kyrie Jones on this Gilman Hounds squad. He played at Gilman. I believe it was a 2012 or 2011 graduate.
I do believe he left at 2012.
2012 and went on to play at Alabama and then on to be the 2nd-round pick for the New England Patriots. So cool to have him back here, and great day to be a Hound, I guess.
And now it's actually an interesting story. Cyrus Jones is back in Baltimore. He's on the practice squad for the Ravens.
That is true. I learned about that a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I think that's awesome when you're able to come from and play for your hometown, regardless if it's practice squad or if you're on the actual roster. It's a blessing.
She is. I'm going to say it on air. Kicking off for the Greyhounds is Brummett here. In the backfield for the Maroons, Salim Turner Muhammad. And we're actually going to, they're switching fields as the quarter ended. So, don't believe everyone realized that the quarter had ended. So as we begin the second here, Brummett once again kicking off for the Greyhounds. And back for the Maroons, Turner Muhammad and Mensa, excuse me. Brummett once again with the pooch kick, this time to the left side. Taken by Steele and run out of bounds. So the Maroons will start at about their own 40-yard line for their fourth drive of the afternoon.
Teams are getting set right here for, getting set right now. We'll give you a couple updates on injury reports. Number 11 for the Hounds, I've already mentioned James Schloter back in his first game after suffering an ankle injury. Also, number 12, William Godin, back in pads, not cleared to play. However, he's working his way back. And then we also have Kendall Manns, the linebacker, sidelined today from injury. And Jackson McCambridge, wide receiver, junior, is out with a minor bicep tear.
Morehead once again in the shotgun, finds his man there to the right for a gain of 6. That pass complete to number 8, Barry Curtis. And it looks like there's going to be a timeout called here by Episcopal.
I believe actually that's going to take us to quarter. For some reason that the clock is a little bit off right now. Just bear with us for a sec. Although they said they switched quarters and switched sides for the kickoff, there was still 5 minutes listed.
Or 5 seconds.
5 seconds, excuse me, 5 seconds.
So now that I believe was where the discrepancy was, where they were switching sides. It appeared as though the first quarter had ended, but now it has ended. Little bit of clock troubles here at Gilman as we're not on our traditional field. So, as we had said before, now it is the beginning of the second quarter with the next play, where Episcopal will start 2nd and 10. Morehead here, ready to get things going for the second quarter. He'll line up in the shotgun for the Maroons with Matheson to his right. And it looks like he's going to have 4 receivers out wide, 2 to his left, 2 to his right. Watch out especially for number 8 to his right, Barry Curtis, who caught that last pass for 6 yards. 2nd and 5 here for the Maroons. Morehead in the shotgun. He'll take the snap. Morehead looking deep, has a man to his left, and that one's complete to Turner Muhammad, and he's going to take that one all the way for an Episcopal touchdown. A beautiful pass there from Morehead to Turner Muhammad.
We have a flag down back at the 35. Wow, that hurts. If this is, it seems as though by the reaction of the Hounds, this is going to be on Episcopal after a phenomenal throw and catch connection between Emmett Morehead, the quarterback, and I believe, number 7, Salim Turner Muhammad. That's tough. I mean, that's a great throw and catch, beating defensive back, or kind of the monster back, I believe it's called, Zachary Dixon, who's who is obviously a force to be reckoned with on defense, just lobbing it right over his head, right into the breadbasket of Muhammad. And, I mean, that's a touch. It's tough to get something like that called back. That's a big play. That could have turned the game around for them.
A really nice pass there from Emmett Morehead nonetheless. But he did have a lot of time to make that pass. And as a result, it's from holding. So now Episcopal with 2nd and 20. Morehead in the shotgun. Will look to his left. Could be a fumble there once again for Episcopal. The man making the catch there was Elijah Gaines. And it looks like Episcopal is going to retain possession there, either because they didn't, in fact, fumble the ball or they recovered it. It was hard to tell whether the man was down there. We apologize for that trash bag coming down. It's been touch and go with the rain here in Baltimore this afternoon, but it does appear to have stopped for now. So if there's any water on the screener at some point, we do apologize, and we'll get back to that as soon as possible. A nice pass there from Morehead to Ethan Yip, one of the Canadians on this Episcopal team. That one's going to be good for about 10 yards, and it's going to be 4th and 2. And it looks like with about 4th and 3, the Maroons are going to stay on the field and try and get the first down. We'll see if Morehead goes to the hard count to try and draw a Greyhound offsides, or if they actually go for it on 4th. Morehead going to the hard count there, couldn't get Gilman off.
Disciplined Hounds D-line, able to keep their cool and not jump off sides. Episcopal's going to come right back at him now.
It looks like Morehead might be going for a little bit of a pooch punt here,
and
he is going to do that. That one's going to be to Conyers, and he makes the fair catch. You could see there, Jack, as Morehead moved a little bit farther back than the traditional shotgun snap, that it looked like that could have been the pooch punt there, and that's, in fact, what Morehead did. So about a 25-yard punt there from Episcopal, and Gilman will start their possession on their own 35.
Yeah, I think that's couldn't ask for more if you're the Hounds, and I would say generous punt by Episcopal there. I mean, down 10. Obviously, they're in no rush. The fact that, I mean, around the 50-yard line, obviously that's a little close to your own end zone, but it's high school football. So teams go for that all the time. So great stop by the Hounds.
And certainly a turning point. The Maroons could have been down only 10-7, but now they're still down 10. And Gilman has the ball. Ettlinger in the shotgun. Hurried there by the Episcopal defensive line, but was able to find Conyers there on the slip.
Ettlinger hit hard at the end of that play, but pops right back up. Also, as a side note, Jameer Roberts is on his way off the field right now. Excuse me. Yes, off the field with our head trainer, Nick Petruzzello. Ice wrapped around his shoulder. We'll try to give you updates on that as we hear more.
And it looks like Gilman's going to return to have Ettlinger under center. Daniel DeLeon creeps behind him to his right. Ettlinger hands it off there to Conyers. And that one's going to be for a loss of 2.
Number 10, Juanel Walker, able to shed his block, get into the backfield, and wrap Conyers up for a no gain. Or excuse me, you said loss of 2?
Loss of 2.
Loss of 2.
3rd and 9 here for the Greyhounds, as Cavante Beard checks in to be the primary back behind Ettlinger. Ettlinger lining up behind Charlie Pope under center. Beard behind him. Ettlinger goes for the play action to Beard and finds Kyrie Jones to his right for a Gilman first down.
Great throw and catch there between Ettlinger and Jones. A little quick out for Kyrie Jones, about 10, 12 yards down the field. Ettlinger puts it right where he wants it.
And so Ettlinger heads to the sideline. So it appears Gilman is going to return to the Wildcat once again.
I believe this is going to be a smart call by the Hounds here. I say you continue to run the Wildcat until Episcopal finds a way to stop it.
Once again, Jermaine Conyers going to be in the Wildcat here. Tough snap there from Pope, but Conyers is able to recover and gain about 1 or 2 yards.
Great job by number 6, Jermaine Conyers there, able to stay cool, although he received a bad snap, pick that up, and gain about 2.
Etlinger is returning to the field, excuse me. Etlinger will return at quarterback and be joined alongside by 19, Colt Pierce, the freshman who's going to line up wide right. Etlinger under center, pitches it left to Cavante Beard, as Beard is pushed forward by his offensive line and gains maybe an extra yard or 2 for a gain of 4.
Good hard-nosed run there by Beard, able to take a couple hits and keep his legs pumping. Gets about an extra yard or 2, which by the end of the game adds up for the Hounds.
On 3rd down and 2, Gilman is going to go back to the Wildcat once again with Conyers. And Colt Pierce, the only wide receiver wide to the left. Kyrie Jones going to go on the end around, but it's handed off instead to Cavante Beard. And it looks like he's going to be just short of the 1st down line.
So now the Hounds, oddly enough, find themselves in the same position. Oh, no. The referee on the far side is waving the chains forward. They're going to give him the 1st down.
And not going to lie, Jack, that's a pretty fortunate call there for Gilman. It was, from our vantage point, pretty clear that Cavante Beard was a half a yard or maybe even a yard short of the 1st down line there. So a lucky call for the Hounds to keep their offense on the field. Etlinger hands it off there. That one's going to go to, number 23, the first time we're seeing him today. That's freshman Kayon Torian. So Torian checking in for his first time this afternoon and getting a run there off of Etlinger. He's going to gain about 3. 2nd and 7. A play call coming from Robert Ford to Etlinger on the hot route. Etlinger under center. Once again, hands it off to Torian, who will go down the lane to his left for a short gain. That's about 4 yards.
Oh, number 20, Torian there, a little couple hand gestures at the end of the play there. He may be short, but he gets his pad level low, and he runs behind his pads, able to push there for about 4 yards there.
And a nice run there for Torian. It's 3rd and 4 for the Greyhounds as Torian checks back in on the bench. And Gilman returns to the Wildcat with Conyers. Kyrie Jones on the end around. Gets a nice hole there, and Kyrie Jones is going to go untouched for a Gilman touchdown. No flags on the play. That's a touchdown for the Greyhounds. Kyrie Jones, 40 yards. It's 16-0.
Great call there by the Hounds, but Kyrie Jones made that play, hit the hole hard, absolutely no hesitation. That's all you can ask for from your running backs and your wide receivers. Just hit the hole hard.
Really nice variation there on the play calls from Nick Bach. Gotta love it. Repeatedly, Jack, we've been seeing Jermaine Conyers line up in that Wildcat. But just at the last second when you expect Conyers to run it once again, he options it off to Kyrie Jones on the end around, and it truly did not seem like he was touched when he hit the hole all the way to the end zone closest to the Gilman buildings. Wonderful run there from Kyrie Jones, a 40-yard burst, and the Greyhounds are up 16-0.
Couldn't agree with you more, Essex, as Brummett puts it through the uprights. I mean, Kyrie Jones, he ran east-west and then put his foot in the ground, able to turn north-south. And it's a sprint race at that point. He hit the hole untouched, wasn't slowed down at all, and no one's catching someone of his athletic caliber. Head wide receivers coach and offensive coordinator Robbie Ford pumped with the Hounds touchdown there as they now lead 17-0.
Gave Kyrie Jones a little bit of a chest bump there. The best play we've seen from Jones all season. And certainly a dynamic playmaker for this Greyhounds team is Kyrie Jones. For those of you fans who tend to wear blue, Kyrie Jones was the man who got that kick return for the touchdown back in the Gilman-McDonough game last year, where the Hounds debatably upset the Eagles to win that game. So now with 5:51 left in the half, the Greyhounds, as we've said, up 17-0. Pretty nice lead here for Gilman. as they look to go into halftime, retaining that shutout and possibly putting a few more points on the board. Back to return for the Maroons once again.
Their pooch kick left.
That one on the return is Yip.
Charlie Pope wrapping him up there.
And Charlie Pope is excited after that hit.
As he should be. Gilman Hounds, they're pumped up right now.
And a flag there after some extracurriculars between both teams. It looks like James Schloter might be getting a penalty there for the Greyhounds. Certainly an electrifying play there from Pope, the sophomore. That one's going to be actually a holding against Episcopal on the return, so no call against James Schloter as the referee had initially made it seem. And so Episcopal is going to lose 10 yards off of that kick and start the ball at about their 20-yard line.
I like the no call there, on the scuffle at the end of that play. Tempers fly in football, and so you got to let the guys play.
Episcopal with the ball once again. Morehead in the shotgun. Matheson to his right. Hands it off to Matheson. Matheson finding a hole to his left side, but quickly taken down by that Gilman defense led by Cavante Beard.
Episcopal there trying to run left, but a combination of the Greenwich, Kreitz, and Carroll defensive line for the Hounds able to clog those holes pretty fast, and Cavante Beard able to come in there and finish it off.
That's something that has been a theme this entire game. That defensive line for the Greyhounds has been pretty strong against the offensive line for the Maroons. Morehead finds his man to the left. That's Elijah Gaines, and he's going to have 15 yards and more as Episcopal is going to get a first down right at the midfield line. And Elijah Gaines is excited. As for the first time in this game, the Maroons are going to be in Gilman territory. It looks like the referees are going to call him down previously. He had apparently touched the ground and it kept going. So Episcopal is going to start with this ball on the 40. Morehead finds his man on the right there. That's Mensah. Mensah was in the flat. He gets a gain of about 10. And now the Maroons will be in Gilman territory at the Gilman 49-yard line. So just by a yard, making their way into Greyhound territory.
2 plays there, 2 quick passes for Episcopal. Wouldn't be surprised they go to it again.
2nd and 3 here for the Maroons. Morehead in the shotgun. Hands it off to Matheson. And Matheson's going to get a first down there for Episcopal as he found a hole on the right side on the outside. Four minutes left and counting here. As their
refs taking the personal timeout as Conyers is tying his shoe. I've actually never seen that before. I've never seen them stop play for that.
Seemed like for a second the position that Conyers was in, he was maybe injured, but all he was doing was tying his laces. Morehead with 3rd and 2.
Crucial 3rd and 2 here for Episcopal.
He's in the shotgun. Oh, and another fumble for the Maroons, and it looks like they're going to recover it. Wow. As it looked like on the end around, that was Jamal Mensah coming from the right side, and Morehead was going to just try, and quickly pop it to him off the snap. But Mensah was unable to hold on to the ball.
That's a huge turn of events for Episcopal there. You go from a 3rd and 2 to a 4th and 5, and now it looks like, from the motion I'm seeing from the sideline, they're going to have to punt this ball. If you turn it over on your side of the 50, it could easily go from 17-0 to 24-0 just like that, the way the Hounds offense is playing.
So it's been a tough day offensively for the Maroons, to say the least. That's their 4th fumble of this afternoon, and we're not even at halftime yet. So something certainly that Coach Morose is going to want to look at halftime for his Maroon team. Back to punt, Paul Pivaroto, once again the Maryland native. A nice clean punt there, and that one's going to be fair caught by Jermaine Conyers. So with 3:07 left in the first half, Gilman is going to get another crack at it at offense, with Josh Ettlinger leading the way, and Gilman looking to extend their lead, which is currently standing at 17-0.
If you're the Hounds here, I think 3:07 left in the second half. You look to milk the clock here, and I think you try to make this a last possession of the half and not give the Maroons a chance to get a score before half. I mean, there's no harm in just taking the ball and trying to run some clock, going into the half 17-0. However, if the opportunity presents itself, I say you try to punch one more in here.
Ettlinger lining up under center for the Greyhounds. The quick handoff there to Beard, as he got about 4 or 5 yards before he was wrapped up by the Episcopal defense, led by number 51, Max Meyer, the junior from Atlanta. Second and 5 here for the Greyhounds. Ettlinger with 2 running backs behind him, Beard and Conyers.
Play switch there. Coach Ford making the call from the sideline.
Ettlinger lining up under center once again. He's going to pitch it out wide to Conyers. Conyers dodging a few and lucky to get to the line of scrimmage there. Had to dodge a few Maroons in order to just get back to the line of scrimmage, and it even looks like he's going to lose a yard there on that pitch.
And an injury update on number 2, Jameer Roberts, the Hounds defensive back wide receiver. He is currently on the sideline. However, he's getting his shoulder wrapped again with more ice and is now having his left arm put into a sling. I wouldn't expect to see him for the remainder of the game.
We wish Jameer the best, as Greyhound is back with 3rd and 6. And Conyers in the Wildcat. He hands it off to Kyrie Jones. It looked like he was free for a second, but taken down by the Episcopal defense. That was Jack Lee on the tackle. Just making enough of a play there to keep Kyrie Jones from dashing off for his second touchdown of the game. And it looks like after the tackle, Lee is actually going to stay down with an injury. So an injury timeout here for the Maroons with 1:32 left in the first half and the Hounds driving.
Just by the way, he's holding his lower leg. I'm assuming it was either a stinger on that tackle or he might be having like a calf cramp or something. Again, back to Jameer Roberts, just on a more broader note, an injury like that could be big to the Hounds, and you got to be careful considering he's a sophomore, starting wide receiver defensive back. To lose a guy like him, especially with the roster numbers as low as they are this year, I think you got to be mindful of that if you're the Hounds. I mean, you might know more than me about the roster numbers.
Absolutely, something I was just actually about to note that you brought that up, Jack. The Gilman roster currently holds 36 players. And for you history buffs out there, that is the lowest number that's ever been on a Gilman football team in school history, leading back all the way to the days of 1898 when Gilman was founded. This is the lowest number that a football team has ever had for Gilman. There's no AV football team this year, and there are 36 players. So every player matters, and the Greyhounds just lost 136. Back here playing. A little fraction action there. The math teachers would be proud. Ettlinger dropping back, batted down there by number 5, Bryce Steele.
Wow, that is a play. Steele came right around the end and skied off the ground, knocking that pass down. He was able to just swat that ball right out of the as Ettlinger was releasing that thing. Absolutely no way he was going to get that around him.
Steele looked like for a second he thought he was on the basketball court looking to block a shot as he just swatted that one to the ground. So now in the 2-minute drill with 1:27 left on the clock in the half, the Greyhounds hold a 2nd and 10 from their own 35-yard line.
If I'm the Hounds here, I look to get 5 or 6 of these yards here. You're just trying to get a couple more first downs, take you to the half.
Etlinger hands it off to Zachary Dixon.
Get about 3 or 4.
Getting close to the number that Jack had mentioned. And it looks like Gilman is going to call a timeout after that run there by Dixon. So a timeout here with 1:18 left on the clock. Gilman, as we have said, in the 2-minute drill, looking to get some more points on the board before heading into the half. Jack, if they get points here, it's been a wonderful start for the Greyhounds and Nick Bach's team. This is certainly more than he possibly could have asked out of the Hounds.
I couldn't agree more with you, Essex. You're playing a team that obviously has a little more leeway in terms of roster space and giving scholarships and more options, considering their boarding school. And they have more numbers. It's pretty obvious that we can see here, looking from sideline to sideline, and to be up 17, possibly more, going into the half is great. I think the key messages that Bach's going to be giving to his team as we go into the halftime break is stay hungry. And this team, they have the talent. They're going to come out firing in the second half. So you just want to make sure you're smart at the end of this half and you come out hungry and aggressive in the next half.
3rd down and 6 here for the Greyhounds. Josh Etlinger in the shotgun. Jermaine Conyers to his right. The hard count there from Etlinger, and it did look like he got someone to go. It just was the man on his own team. It looks like he got a wide receiver to jump off sides on his hard count there. So a false start for the Greyhounds is going to put him back 5 yards. And it's going to be 3rd and 11. It looked like the man who jumped off sides there for the Greyhounds was either Kyrie Jones or George Russell. Etlinger in the shotgun gives it off to Conyers on a little bit of trickery. Nothing doing, though, there for Conyers, as it's going to be about 4th and 10.
Timeout now called by Episcopal. I think that's a smart call, considering it's going to be 4th down. Hounds are going to have to punt, and Episcopal is looking to get this back with about a minute left, looking to put their first points on the board.
And speaking of points, this is a little bit of a personal note, but I just want to send a quick shout out to all those who are watching this broadcast and thank them for tuning in, especially those tuning in from Alexandria, Virginia on the campus of Episcopal this afternoon. It's a long drive and we're happy to have you. A little quick shout out to someone who's tuning in. My sister, Wheatley, actually goes to Episcopal, and I just wanted to say hey to you and let you know that Gilman's winning by a lot, and you better hope that Episcopal gets there some points on the board or you're going to lose that bet. But just shout out to all those from Alexandria. Thank you for tuning in, and hello to Wheatley.
She know the quarterback on this team?
She might. She might know the quarterback. Gilman to punt this one away here to the Maroons.
Oh.
And a flag here.
Oh, and they're moving the ball forward. That's huge. I mean, actually, it's only 5 yards. I expect Gilman to still punt, because if you turn it over on your side of the 50, it could be bad. But
just a few extra yards there for Jed Brummett to work with, as he's going to punt this one away to Turner Muhammad. Oh, man. And that one just went from bad to worse there. Really just a lack of fundamentals there from the Greyhounds. Brummett had enough time to recover and punt that one away as he wanted to, but he rushed himself. And then when the man for Episcopal, lineman, recovered the ball, it's like Gilman thought he was down. They didn't go to tackle him.
Time to bear down now if you're the Hounds defense. You're putting a hole here after a bad punt, I guess. I mean,
just ball, a whole lot of things went wrong for the
really
Greyhounds.
fast. A combination of a muff punt, which happens. It wasn't actually Brummett's fault on the punt. It was a bad snap, skimmed the ground, but he rushed himself a little bit, resulted in a bad punt. Here come the Maroons for Episcopal.
Morehead in the shotgun, looking out to his flat on the left. That's Boyles, who gets a lane, and he's in for the touchdown. And Episcopal is on the board. John Boyles in the flat there, got the pass from Morehead, slipped and dipped a few times, And before you knew it, he was in the end zone.
That is tough. All coaches for the Hounds right now, hands on hips, just in disbelief about what just happened. As I've said in this game, but then in all games in the past years, this game is a lot about momentum. And right now Episcopal, they're able to take advantage of the Hounds' mistakes and punch it in within the first play of their possession. Huge turn of events for the Maroons.
And, Jack, it looked like Gilman was still recovering from the shock of flubbing that punt there. Looked like they weren't even ready to start defense. For the kick now is Pivaretto, and he knocks it through the uprights. So the score with 49 seconds left on the clock is Gilman 17 and Episcopal 7. So a silver lining, at least, to that play for the Greyhounds, is they're going to get the ball back with 49 seconds left and get a chance to maybe regain that 17-point lead if they can get a touchdown.
Indeed. However, if the scoreboard is correct, which I never know if it is, last year we've had plenty of mistakes on the scoreboard, it says right now the Hounds do have 3 timeouts. So 50 seconds, if this is a return, you say you're probably going to start your possession with 45 seconds. You've got 3 timeouts to work with, and it really just, we've seen this game, there's been a couple big plays. It just takes a few big plays, and you're in scoring position before you know it. So this half is not over yet.
An important kick return here for the Greyhounds that could lead to a possible chance here on offense. Pivaretto to kick once again for the Maroons. Back to return, Jermaine Conyers and Kyrie Jones. Pivaretto looking to go a little deep there, going to be returned by Cavante Beard. Beard gets on the right side and is taken down.
Now I believe Gilman is going to start. It's tough with these lines, but
around their
25-yard line, yep.
Give or take.
Not horrible field position. About as much as you would take. If you take a knee in high school football, you get put at 25, right? Or is it the 20?
I believe so. That's a new rule in college football, at least. I'm not entirely sure how it corresponds to high school. But for those who don't know, there's a new rule in college football where even off a kickoff, if you fair catch anywhere inside the 25-yard line, then you're able to get the ball at the 25. Etlinger to bring out the offense once again. He has the shortened 2-minute drill here, 43 seconds left on the clock. Hands it off to Torian, the freshman running back for the Greyhounds. He's going to get a gain of 1 or 2, and the clock's running.
No timeout here by the Hounds. I assume they're just going to take this to halftime here.
It does appear that the Greyhounds are going to be content.
Yes, so I think if you're head coach for Episcopal, Mark Morrows, I think you're basically saying to your team, hey, tough start, but way to finish. They close it out with the touchdown off of a forced turnover of their own. And I think they're just going to look to come out with a different level of aggression. Both teams have shown their play style, and I think they're going to come out with some halftime adjustments. I think Episcopal's probably going to discuss the wild card formation that the Hounds keep effectively throwing at them. And then I think on the Gilman side, Coach Bach is probably going to say, like, we started strong, however we gave one up at the end, but that football's a game of ups and downs, and that's what happens. So I think they're going to come out if they just continue to keep up their high level of energy, and especially on the defensive side of the ball, if they continue to force turnovers, I don't see they shouldn't have an issue winning this game.
And so with that, we will take our break here for halftime. 11:30 left on the clock until we kick off for the second half. Stay tuned, and we'll be back for the second half here on Greyhound TV. And welcome back here to Greyhound TV for the second half. Alongside Jack Tortolani, I'm Essex Thayer. As the clock ticks below 20 before we're here for the second half. Greyhounds up 17-7. Jack, what are we looking for here for this get off to the tandem, Turner Muhammad and Mensah? We're moments away here from kicking it off for the second half as Brummett once again sends that pooch to the sideline, and there's the flag. So that's where things can go wrong with the pooch kick, as Brummett sent it a little too far wide, and it's a flag. So Episcopal will start their offense on the 40-yard line.
If you're just checking in with us now, first half tough for the Episcopal Maroons. Half it was just plagued with turnovers, especially fumbles on the offensive end and special teams, and Hounds were able to take advantage, and in the second half, we look to see if they come out with any new strategy on the offensive end.
So the Episcopal offense comes out for their first possession of the second half, led by their sophomore starting quarterback, Emmett Morehead. Morehead in the shotgun. To his left, checking into the ball game at running back Wanell Walker, the Reisterstown native. So back in his hometown is Walker, and he's on the field at running back. Morehead hands it off to Walker. He's going to be taken down by Bethel as he's dragged along by his offensive line. It's going to be a gain of about 3 for the Maroons to start their first drive. Second and 5 here for the Maroons. Morehead, the quarterback, in the shotgun. 4 wide, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. As he checks back with his coach there, Morose, on the check down.
Keep an eye on the Hounds' defensive line. It was really a force in the first half.
Starting quarterback as a senior last year. So this is Morehead's first start for Episcopal. He lines up in the shotgun. Walker to his left. He's going to take that one. And missing wide right is his wide receiver there. That pass was intended for Barry Curtis, number 8.
Throw a little bit behind him there, but you might not be able to tell from the current angle we have right now, but it was a tough window to put that in, and sometimes just putting it in a place where only the receiver can get it is a smart thing to do.
A shift defensively for the Greyhounds as the quarterback there is hurried and then taken down by that Gilman defensive line.
Greenwich in there on the sack.
Cavante Beard and Henry Bethel were in there as well, as Bethel is slow to get up and limping a little bit. 4th down for the Maroons here, and they'll elect to punt the ball away. So a rather uneventful first possession of the second half for Episcopal, as they get 1 first down, and then they have to give the ball back to Gilman. Pivaroto back to punt for the Maroons, and Conyers back for the Greyhounds to return this punt. Really nice punt there from Pivaroto, and Conyers does well to just catch that fair catch and start the Greyhounds drive at their own 25. Jack, a really nice punt there from Pivaroto. He got a really nice hang time to allow his fellow Maroon players to get under it and force Conyers to fair catch it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, punt's going to pin the Hounds inside the 25, and it's going to force them to make plays to gain yards here, while in the first half they really had trouble being effective on special teams.
Ettlinger under center for the Greyhounds. Takes the snap from Charlie Pope, hands it off to Cavante Beard, who is taken down pretty swiftly by the Episcopal defensive line. No gain there for Beard. It's 2nd and 10. As the sun creeps through the clouds here in Baltimore.
As just one thing I actually would mention is the sun starts to become more visible on what was initially more of an overcast day. The sun could become a factor.
Ettlinger in the shotgun. Conyers to his right. Daniel DeLeon shifts to the other side of the field. Etlinger rushed there by the Episcopal defensive line. Did nicely to get the ball out there to Conyers, but Conyers dropped it.
Strong rush there off the left side of the line there by Episcopal. They were able to flush Etlinger out of the pocket, force him to make a quick throw to Conyers, who was not able to reel that in. 3rd down and 9 here. What do you expect to see here?
It's got to be a pass here for the Greyhounds if they want to get the first down, but something I was going to mention, Jack, that's been really nice from Josh Etlinger so far this afternoon is his ability to get the ball out when rushed by that Episcopal defensive line. He has not been sacked all that much yet this afternoon, has done a nice job of getting the ball out on the flats. Etlinger, once again, rushed, gets that one under center. He's going to run it, and just at the right time throws that ball out of bounds, and there's a flag down. So either we'll see if it's on Episcopal.
Smart play there by Etlinger. A veteran's play, if I've ever seen one there. He's able to roll out of the pocket, and with number 4, Litchfield Adjavon, hot in pursuit, he would just fire that ball out of bounds, which is not intentional grounding once you're outside of the tackle box. And he was hit late, not particularly hard, but I think a combination of just that bump and a little bit of jabbering from Adjavon caused the refs to throw the flag there. So great play by Etlinger, not only to avoid losing yards, but also to possibly get his team a few.
Well, it is unclear who the flag is on still. The referees are still discussing who this flag is against. It's been quite the long discussion, one would say, as we've still yet to see who this call is on. As the referees is now explaining the call to the Gilman team. And it's going to be intentional grounding against Josh Etlinger, as he didn't get the ball back to the line of scrimmage when throwing that ball. So that one's going to be not only a loss of 10 yards, but also a loss of down. So it's going to be 4th and a large chunk for the Greyhounds, and they're going to bring on Jed Brummett to punt the ball away.
That's tough. I apologize for the wrong analysis there. From my vantage point, it seemed as if he got that ball over the line of scrimmage. So that's tough there. I thought the Hounds were possibly going to get a favor there.
Brummett to putt this one away. Could certainly do better than his last attempt. Rushed that time, but was able to get the ball out nicely on a line drive.
That'll roll,
and takes
too.
A nice Gilman bounce, as Jack said. That ball down by Daniel DeLeon at the Episcopal 43-yard line. So nicely done there from Jed Brummett in recovery after his last punt. He was rushed once again, but was able to get the ball out and line drive that one nicely to pin Episcopal back in at least their own territory. So the Maroons will start their second drive of the second half here with 8:37 left on the clock in the third quarter, down by 10. Once again at quarterback, Morehead, the sophomore.
Wouldn't be surprised if the Maroons went to go quick passes down the field here. They've had some success with that.
Instead, Morehead will hand it off to Juwan Walker. He'll gain about 4, making it 2nd and 6. And the Episcopal is going to go in the hurry up here. Once again, Morehead in the shotgun. He'll have Walker to his right. Hands it off to Walker once again, but nothing doing this time for the running back, as Gilman will tackle him near the line of scrimmage, possibly for a loss of a few yards. It'll be 3rd down and 7, so a loss of 1 there for Walker on the run. Watch out for the one-on-one here on our near side between Gaines and Kyrie Jones. Morehead on the pass here. He's looking to his right and does nicely to find a wide receiver there. That's Jamal Mensah, as he was rushed by Gage Kreitz. Really nice composure there from Morehead to get the ball out.
Couldn't agree more. Essex Morehead able to stand in the pocket there, avoid the rush from Kreitz, and throw it out to his receiver.
There is a flag down here, though.
And it looks like it's going to come back.
It could, and it looks like the chains are moving back, so possibly that extra time that Morehead got may have been as a result of some holding from the offensive line, and that is going to be what's called a holding on the Episcopal offensive line. So the ball will come back.
Actually, I believe it was called as an ineligible receiver downfield, is what our announcer Dan Christian just said. I wasn't sure. Obviously, I didn't notice it. However, it's tough again for Episcopal. Another pretty big play that's been called back due to penalties, and that can be a difference maker.
Not something you see very often in high school football, ineligible receivers. But once again, as Jack said, negating a pretty big play for the Maroons, a penalty. Morehead going right back on the right side, that time to Barry Curtis. And it looks like, despite the fact that they had the penalty, Episcopal is going to get a first down.
Curtis there attacking the matchup with number 5 for the Hounds, George Castlesmith, who actually stayed with him pretty well until he made that hard cut and come back to the ball, and Morehead had already had it in the air and in a place where he could make that grab.
So Episcopal putting together a little drive here as Morehead takes it in the shotgun. Looks out into the flat on the left side, but overshot his man there, Jamal Mensah.
Tough throw there. It's going to be tough to complete those, especially when the Hounds cover of Dixon, Torian, and Jones all in on that play.
Mensah, a native of Coquitlam, Canada. So another one of those international players for the Maroons. Morehead back under center. He hands it off to Walker. Walker barely able to get on the edge, and that one's picked up off the fumble. Zachary Dixon on the fumble recovery, and he rushes all the way back to the Gilman 20-yard line.
Wow, what a play by Dixon there. Comes sweeping around the edge, and he could have lit that running back for Episcopal up, but instead he goes for the smart thing, puts his helmet right on the ball just as you're taught as a tackler in the open field, pops that thing right out, and is aware enough to pick that ball up in stride and run for a big gain for the Hounds. Huge play there.
And that one just looked like a tough play for the start there from Episcopal. Walker on that run really was never able to get over the edge on the outside there to try and get the run. And as you said, Dixon just tackled really nicely. Instead of going for the big shot, he put his helmet right on the ball, knocked it out, and then was able to go and pick up his own recovery. So a really nice job there from Dixon and able to get down deep inside Episcopal territory. Conyers on the Wildcat here for Gilman. Gets a yard, possibly just back to the line of scrimmage there for Conyers. As head coach Nick Bach goes back to his Wildcat offense.
Good stop there for Episcopal on the Wildcats, one of the first ones we've seen against this formation.
Conyers gives it off to Kyrie Jones on the end around. That time, no touchdown for Jones. As it looks like an Episcopal man is down with a little bit of a cramp. That's what it usually, when they put their leg out and go straight for their toes, it is usually a cramp. So down on the field is Bryce Steele for the Maroons.
And also on the Gilman sideline, it looks as Kyrie Jones is limping off. I noticed he came off earlier in this half with what appeared to be an ankle injury, and head trainer Nick Pietrozella has been trying to nurse that injury so he can play, but he now comes to the sideline with his helmet off, shaking his head. We'll try to keep you updated on that.
And maybe both of those injuries could have been escalated on that last play. Kyrie Jones, who was the one with the ball there, was in fact tackled by Steele. So maybe they both knocked themselves up a little bit on that play. 6:11 left on the clock here in the third quarter as we obviously still are in that injury timeout for Bryce Steele, a sophomore running back and defensive back out of Raleigh.
Steele's still down on the field here. He's being looked at by the Episcopal trainers. Still grabbing that toe, stretching his hamstring.
So at least I guess while we have a break, Jack, we got to talk about the other important football game in our lives tonight. The Ravens facing off against the Bagels in Cincinnati.
Huge game, Essex. Huge game, especially going out and getting that big win, 47-3 win over the Bills in Week 1. I think you look to now take on one of your divisional rivals, and the Ravens, who have had, I mean, obviously AFC North Division. AFC North Division is going to be more competitive this year, considering the Browns tied the Steelers in Week 1. And so wins against that we can get are going to be great, but if we can find a way to take the Bengals out, that'd be huge.
Absolutely. Jack, quick quiz. What conference does Gilman play in?
The MIAA, baby.
All right, you were 1 for 2.
Oh, there's a pass there. I knew it. Oh, frick.
A little short there from Cavante Beard, looking for Colt Pierce, the freshman, on a little bit of trickery. A little bit of a Philly special, as seen in the Super Bowl.
Love that play calling there by the Gilman offense. I think that a trick play when run at the right time, we saw that run last year, could be a dagger
absolutely.
if you find a way to convert that.
The only score for the Greyhounds in the championship game last year against St. Francis came off of a trick play where they were able to get that touchdown off of a Brandon Madison pass when he was in the Wildcat.
It looks like
so now it's, as Jack was just about to mention, an extremely long field goal attempt here for Jed Brummett. He's going to take it from the 30-yard line. So a 40-yard kick for Brummett and just shy of the crossbar. So no good from 40 yards for Jed Brummett. A lot of trust there from head coach Nick Bach to let Brummett go out there and try and boot one through the uprights, but no good this time for Brummett. As a result, Episcopal will start on the 30-yard line. Only down by 10 here, 5:42 left in the third quarter.
And I also want to mention, I'm sorry about it, I believe there was some, I'm getting word there was some background noise on the last play when the ball was overthrown by Beard on the trick play. That unfortunately we have the mics pick up some background noise, so we apologize for that.
The Episcopal offense back out here. Morehead in the shotgun, looking to pass. An unbelievable almost catch there from Ethan Yip. Had the ball in his grasp, but was unable to pull it down. So an incomplete pass there from Morehead. Want to say thanks to tuning in to this man to my left's mom, Mrs. Tortolani. We appreciate you tuning in and letting us know, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong on here. Really appreciate it, Jack. AFC North, choice of words. Sometimes some things go right, some things go wrong. It's the first game for football up here for us. We're learning and growing along the way.
Couldn't agree more, Essex. First game back.
Do bear with us.
Things happen. You got to bear with us sometimes.
Morehead in the shotgun. Finds Curtis on the flat on the right side. A flag thrown there, so Episcopal could be moving back.
And I think Essex, flags could be the difference between this game being tied and the way it is right now, considering that on big plays, Episcopal is they just haven't, on their big plays, have just seemed always to be called back.
And that one is, as Jack mentioned, going to be a penalty for Episcopal. So they'll take a 5-yard hike back. It's going to be actually 10 yards back. It'll be a 2nd and 20 there off the hold. So Episcopal deep in their own zone. And a lot left to gain. 5:29 left on the clock. Morehead in the shotgun with Walker to his right. 4 wide. He'll pitch the ball to Walker on his right. Walker finds a hole, dodges a few, and gets past the original line of scrimmage for about a 12-yard gain for Walker.
Great run there by 1L Walker, able to bust his team out of the 10-yard hole they were in and get back towards the first down marker.
A little bit windy now here in Baltimore as weather starts to pick up. Under 5 minutes here as the Episcopal offense has 5 yards to get here on third down.
Audible being called here by Morehead.
Morehead has 4 wide receivers. He has a man open on the left side. He looks to find him, but a little too far there for Jamal Mensah. Nice defense from Zachary Dixon.
Fantastic D there by Zachary Dixon, able to just nudge the receiver for Episcopal off his line there without being called for pass interference. Smart play, well executed.
So the Episcopal offense there sputters to a halt. And Pivaroto will punt that one away to Jermaine. A nice end-over-end punt there from Pivaroto. Drop there on the fair catch by Conyers, and that one is going to be recovered by Episcopal. Conyers looked like he had a good eye on it. He called for the fair catch, and then that one went right through the breadbasket, and Episcopal picked that one up.
That is a tough play there for the Hounds. Conyers, who I was just about to mention, has done a great job being smart on his returns all game. Just allowed that one to slip through his hands there. Now Episcopal is in great field position for the first time this half.
That one recovered by Ben Lee for the Maroons, and now they're back on offense in the Gilman zone. Only down by 10 here, the Maroons are, so a good opportunity here to capitalize and get themselves back in this game with 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Morehead in the shotgun, pump fakes and looks to his right. He has Curtis Long, and just through the hands of Barry Curtis, the wide receiver. Really nice defense there from George Russell.
I believe 14 is actually Cam Ward.
Interesting.
Oh, no, excuse me. Sorry.
It is George Russell on the roster, but that he was down in another. 2 men are down, actually, 1 for each team. Walker looks to be hobbling off to the sideline, and Cavante Beard was down for a minute as well. He's going to make his way to the sideline as well. Assistant coach Rob Ford letting his sideline know that they need to get excited. A big moment here for both Gilman and Episcopal. 3rd down and 12, and it'd be really nice for the Greyhounds if they could get off the field unscathed. It's going to be trips wide onto the left for Morehead. He's going to have a wide receiver to his right as well, and he'll have Litchfield Adjavon in the backfield. A flag down there, could be a free play as Morehead looks to his left and had a man open there. That was Turner Muhammad, but Muhammad was unable to catch it.
Heavy rush there by the Hounds, able to flush Morehead out, but able to stay composed and put a great throw downfield to Muhammad. Had he had caught that, they would have been inside the 10. That would have been fantastic play. But yet again, another penalty for Episcopal. It's going to move them back.
Unfortunately for Muhammad, even if you were unable to pull that one down, that play would have gone back as the Maroons had a false start there. It's 4th down here for Episcopal, and it looks like they're going to go for it. 4th and 12 here from the Gilman 35. Morehead in the shotgun. He has 3 wide receivers out. Looks to his left, gets the pass off, and no good there. It was a little long for Elijah Gaines. So Gilman is going to get off the field with no points given up after that unfortunate muffed punt from Jermaine Conyers.
Got to be honest here, Essex. I'm surprised on 4th and 10 that they're taking shots this close to the end zone. However, when you're down 10 like they are, 3:38 remaining in the third quarter, you got to take chances at some point with an offense that really hasn't been all that successful. But here comes the Hounds offense. See if they can bounce back, put some more points on the board, and try to extend this lead.
Turning in actually a really nice afternoon here in Baltimore as the sun peeks through the clouds which have been covering over the Gilman campus for nearly this entire day, as we have 3:38 left in the third quarter and Gilman up by 10. Etlinger in the shotgun. He gives it off to Terrain, who is on his left side in the backfield. Terrain going to have a loss of 1 or 2 there, unable to break through that first line. Terrain staying on the field here for the Greyhounds. Also has Cam Ward in the backfield. Ward on this play going to go out wide. On the right side, George Castlesmith and Colt Pierce. Edlinger once again hands it off to Terrain, and Terrain has nothing going there as he lost another 1 or 2 yards.
Boyle's able to break through the line there for Episcopal, able to cause another loss. Wrap Torian up for another loss.
So Torian is going to check off. And it looks like the Greyhounds are going to bring on the double set of Cavante Beard and Jermaine Conyers. 2:30 left in this third quarter for the Greyhounds. Roughly 3rd and 13. The Greyhounds sitting at their own 30-yard line.
Less than 10 on the play clock.
Conyers not going to line up at running back. He's going to go wide. And it looks like with the play clock moving down, Nick Bach is going to call his first timeout of the second half.
Bach not happy you have to spend one of his 3 timeouts in this half. Just over 2 minutes remaining. You hope to save those for the later in this quarter and on into the fourth.
So Gilman taking a break there. Looking to talk this one over before they have a third and 13 standing before them. And now, Jack, as we get deep into this game, every play, every third down is going to become critical for both teams. With this game still being very close, 17-7 is certainly not a cakewalk for the Greyhounds here, as both teams vie for their first win of the season.
I agree. We still got over a full quarter of football left. 2 teams that are winless in their early season. Obviously, Episcopal, this is their first game. However, they're just going to be equally as hungry as the Hounds to put that first win in the win column.
And a big season for Episcopal, just the same as Gilman, a new head coach, and trying to once again get that IAC Conference Championship. Edlinger on the QB run and able to get just a few yards back, about a gain of 5, to make a more manageable 4th down punt here for the Greyhounds as they bring on their punt team.
Like that call for the Hounds there, a quarterback run, or QB draw, for the Hounds there. Something we haven't seen that much. They're able to pick up 6 to 8 yards there and puts them in, as you said, as a better position to punt this ball away.
Jed Brummett back on to punt this ball away for Gilman. Turner Muhammad back to return it for Episcopal. A nice line drive punt there from Brummett, and another good Gilman bounce as it hits off Turner Muhammad, and all he can do is fall on that ball to recover. A penalty flag thrown here late as some extracurricular activities between George Castlesmith and Litchfield at Javon near where the punt occurred. Javon stayed down for a while, and it looks like he's going to be helped off the field by a member of the Episcopal training staff.
There is a flag down, however, and I wonder if possibly Adjavon was just looking to sell the little scuffle that went on between himself and Cal Smith to get a penalty. And
we'll see what the call is here from the referees. But Jack, Litchfield Adjavon, the senior wide receiver and defensive back, is having a bit of a homecoming here, a native of Baltimore, Maryland, back home playing one of the hometown teams. So at least getting to be back home here in Baltimore for a couple hours, playing a team I'm sure he knows quite well.
And they are, in fact, going to put that. Yep, the call is against the Hounds, I believe. It was unsportsmanlike conduct called at the end of the play on number 5, George Castlesmith.
So we're awaiting where the ball is going to be placed It looks like that's going to occur near the 30-yard line for Episcopal. And after that Castle Smith penalty, the ball is going to be moved up 15 yards. So the ball will be at the Episcopal 43. The Maroons getting a good start to field position, down by 10 with 1:48 left on the clock. Emmett Morehead in the shotgun. He has Walker to his left, and he hands it off to him. Walker has a really nice hole there, breaks free, has a little bit of room. He goes down the right side, and Juan Walker gets that touchdown for the Episcopal Maroons.
Walker there hit the hole hard. Little jab step about 10 yards in, broke through that second level of Hounds defense, and he was off to the races. No one catching him there. Neither Ward nor Jones were able to run him down.
A very simple handoff to Juan L. Walker, but he hit the right hole at the right time, and boom, there he goes for a 50-yard touchdown for the Episcopal Maroons. And in the snap of a finger, they're only down by 4 and could be down by 3 with the field goal here off the foot of Pivaroto.
Just like that, one play, and now we got ourselves a barn burner in Baltimore.
Pivaroto with the kick, and that one appears to be through the uprights. It looked like it could have gone wide right there, but that one's good from Pivaroto, and Episcopal is down by 3. So a close one now with 1:34 left in the third quarter. Episcopal freshly off the touchdown from number 10, Juan L. Walker, another Baltimore native, Jack, the senior running back and linebacker.
No flag, excuse me.
Just some whistles. It appears maybe that Pivaroto went to kick that one off before he's waved on to do so. So it'll just be a re-kick here for Episcopal.
And it's interesting you mentioned that about Walker and in his being a Reisterstown, Maryland native. Both him and Litchfield Adjuvant both participated in a program called Next One Up here in Baltimore, which played a key role in them attending Episcopal.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Next One Up and all the great work they do for people in our community. A touchback there off the foot of Pivaroto, and the Gilman offense will start at the 25-yard line. 1:34 left on the clock here in the third quarter, and Jack, the Greyhounds were up 17-0, but now in the snap of a finger, this game is close.
It couldn't be more true. Now, what once was a 17-0 game is 2 touchdowns later, a 14-17 game. Episcopal, obviously, it seems as if they've had the momentum here in the second half. They found a way to slow down this Gilman offense that was a force to be reckoned with in the first half, and now they find themselves only down by 3.
Etlinger in the shotgun here. He has Cavante Beard to his right. Hands it off to Beard, and he hits the hole and gets about 4. Etlinger in the shotgun. Had his man open there. That was Schloter. Wide open, but Etlinger unable to find Schloter. Threw it a little bit behind him.
Great effort there by Schloter. Etlinger giving him a back shoulder throw, which Schloter accepted to be on the near side, and he almost was able to turn around and make that catch on the sideline, just out of his reach there.
3rd and 7 here for the Greyhounds. A crucial down to get here for Gilman so they can get this drive going, only up by 3. Etlinger in the shotgun, Torian to his left. Has a lot of time, and it looks like he's going to take this ball down and try and run for it. And not enough time to get to that first down line. Etlinger taken down by Turner Muhammad. So a 4th down here and roughly 5 for Gilman. And It appears that Jed Brummett is now on to punt the ball away.
Another stop here for the Episcopal defense. They got to be feeling confident with their performance in the second half.
Brummett back here for the punt. A little bit of a tough snap there, but Brummett able to get that away pretty effectively. And a really nice Gilman bounce there off the punt, as it's going to be down by De Leon at the Episcopal 32.
Great handle and punt there by Brummett. Another low snap, which he was able to just scoop up off the ground, deliver a good punt that not only had its own carry in the air, but was able to bounce for an extra 5 to 10.
So with 16 seconds left in this third quarter, Episcopal will have possession with the opportunity to either tie the game with a field goal or take the lead with a touchdown. The ball, as said before, at the Episcopal 32-yard line. Emmett Morehead once again out to take control of the Episcopal offense. He's in the shotgun. Goes on the quarterback option and chooses to keep it himself and stays on his feet. Morehead going all the way down to the Gilman 43 before being forced out of bounds, and a flag down late.
Wow, great run there by Morehead. Able to read that option quite well, decide not to pitch and take it for about 20 of his own. However, at the end of that play, a little, as Essex would say, extracurriculars, which are now going to lead to another Episcopal penalty on a big play due to the little bit of a jabbering that Morehead added on to the end of that play.
Clearly the referees were having none of that, as they'll send Morehead right back to where he came from. And so just another case there of penalties getting in the way of big plays for Episcopal, as they'll still have a first down, but it'll be 15 yards back from where Morehead went out of bounds. So still a gain of yards there for the Maroons, but certainly not as large as it could have been. Morehead in the shotgun. He has trips left and a single wide receiver right. Also has a running back in the backfield. That's Juan L. Walker.
Hard count there for Morehead, not able to get the Hounds to jump. He'll get the call from the sideline and set back up.
As Jack said, he'll take an audible from his head coach on the sideline and go at it again. Going through his checkdowns. Rushed by that line and intercepted by the Gilman defense. Morehead was trying to go through his progressions and looked like he was trying to throw that one in the flat or just even throw it away, but it went right into the hands of number 56, Hank Bethel.
Huge play there for the Hounds. As you can see, this defensive line, in my opinion, has been the benchmark of this game. They've been getting penetration on every play, and they're able to get into Morehead's face and force him to make an uncomfortable throw he wasn't ready to make. Bethel was there, hands were ready, and he's able to make the catch. Huge play.
And so now Gilman, in a critical play to get the ball back, will have the ball in Episcopal territory as we head into the fourth quarter. So the ball will switch sides here. So the Gilman offense comes out here to start this drive to begin the fourth quarter. Up by 3. Jermaine Conyers in the Wildcat hands it off to Zachary Dixon. Dixon pushed forward by his line a little bit. He'll get about 4 as Gilman progresses to the Episcopal 32. And the clock running. It's a gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7. Gilman taking their time here as they'll remain in the Wildcat with Jermaine Conyers. Zach Dixon to his left, gives it off to Kyrie Jones on the end around. He got a touchdown last time, but this time he fumbles it. The ball recovered there before it went out of bounds by the freshman Colt Pierce.
Very heads-up play there by Pierce. Kyrie Jones not quite able to keep that ball secure through the contact.
So Gilman, luckily enough, able to retain possession off of the fumble from Kyrie Jones. Pierce was able to pick that one up before it went out of bounds and results in a third down. About 7 yards left to gain here for the Greyhounds as they're inside Episcopal territory. 10:40 and counting left in this game. Conyers in the shotgun, hands it off to Cavante Beard as he appears to be a yard or two short of that first down line. Big decision time now here, Jack, for the Greyhounds if they go for it on fourth.
Indeed, we're waiting for this yard marker to move, but I believe it's going to be about four. It's going to be fourth and about 4, and some movement on the sideline, but I think they're going to go for it here.
Calls coming in here from Rob Ford on the sideline, and it does appear that the Greyhounds in this critical moment are going to go for it on fourth down. 2 wide receivers out wide to the right. That's Colt Pierce nearest to Etlinger, and then Kyrie Jones on the outside. Etlinger in the shotgun. He has Zachary Dixon to his right. Pressured there by the Episcopal defense, able to shake out. Etlinger on the run, and it looks like Etlinger was able to get the first down there. He took the ball down, ran for it, and it looks like Josh Etlinger was able to get that fourth down.
Fantastic play there by the quarterback, Josh Etlinger, able to avoid the rush. He looked a little nonchalant when the first defensive lineman got to him, but he's able to break that tackle and use his feet to get the first down. Gets the Hounds a fresh set of downs with just under 10 minutes to play.
So a critical conversion there for Josh Etlinger and the Greyhounds as he takes a moment on the bench, and the Greyhounds go back to the Wildcat. Jermaine Conyers takes the direct snap and heads forward. He'll get a yard or two as the clock continues to run. We're under 9.5 minutes now. The Greyhounds, now that they have that first down, calming down a bit, taking their time to get the calls from offensive coordinator Robert Ford.
Gain of about 4 there on first down. Can't complain if you're the Hounds. Wouldn't be surprised here if they look to either get Etlinger moving on a possible rollout, or if they look to go hand off to Zach Dixon here.
And so Etlinger comes back in. He'll line up under center. Hands it off to Zachary Dixon. Dixon has a hole and gets a nice juke there to get a few extra yards. He'll be close to the first down line. A little bit of a hurry-up offense there from the Greyhounds once Etlinger made it back on the field. And Dixon did well to get that juke and shake and get close to the first down yard line. And, in fact, he did get the first down for the Greyhounds. So a fresh set of downs for Gilman as Etlinger lines up in the shotgun. About 13 yards until the Greyhounds are in the end zone. Etlinger hands it off to Cavante Beard as Beard pitches forward for about 3 or 4. Jack, it appears like Gilman is content to run the ball right now.
Yes, I agree, and I think that's the smart decision right now. If you're getting 4 yards per rush, you continue to do that until Episcopal finds a way to stop you. Smart call here, the timeout by what I believe, yes, by Episcopal. I mean, when Gilman's driving on you like they are right now, a smart thing to do is catch your breath and make sure your defense is settled and try to make sure they're ready for whatever Gilman's going to throw at them.
And so an interesting note here, Jack. The reason that it appears Gilman's gone back a little bit to their traditional quarterback offense is currently to the right of our booth is head athletic trainer Nick Pietruzella talking to Jermaine Conyers. That could possibly be because of a concussion protocol. He may have gotten a stinger or two on his helmet, as it looks like Nick is talking those things through.
It does appear so. I've seen Mr. Nick give these talks before. I mean, every time I can just tell by his body language, this is one of those times where he's got to explain to Conyers, who obviously wants to get back in the game, that, look, the smart thing is to not play here.
And now Coach Nick has his hands on the shoulders of Conyers, and it looks like he's telling him bad news. Maybe we won't see him for the remainder of this game. Gilman back on offense here in the red zone. Ettlinger in the shotgun, hands it off to Zachary Dixon. Dixon gains about 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Dixon there, swarmed by the Episcopal defensive line, number 73, who is again not on our roster, and number 51, Max Meyer, in on the tackle.
So now a critical time for the Greyhounds to convert here on 3rd down, because once it gets to 4th, it's going to be decision time for Nick Bach. Field goal or go for it, with the Hounds only up 3 here and 7:40 left on the clock. Ettlinger in the shotgun has 2 running backs, one to his left, one to his right. Chooses to keep it for himself and is rolling out to his right. Takes a ginormous hit there in the backfield. That one came from number 4.
Adjavon there.
Hitchfield Adjavon.
Yeah, Adjavon there. I mean, I was able to get a good view of the entire play as it unfolded, as Ettlinger gingerly walked back towards the sideline. Adjavon, Notre Dame commit, defensive back position. Obviously, you can see there while he is so highly touted.
And it looks like despite the fact that Ettlinger is hobbling around, it looks like he's going to stay on the field as the holder for this kick for Jed Brummett to put the Greyhounds up by 6. A little bit to the right side here for Brummett. And that one is no good from Brummett, wide left. So a tough offensive time there for the Greyhounds as they went all the way down into the Episcopal red zone, but come out of it with 0 points.
This is tough right here. As you see Ettlinger walking off the field a little bit gingerly right now, and then you have a noticeably emotional Conyers still speaking with head athletic trainer Nick Pietruzella right now. Hounds could be, they're kind of in a hole right now. I mean, they give the ball back to Episcopal, who's obviously, after getting a huge defensive stop and forcing a missed field goal, playing with a little more emotion. So, Hounds are going to need another big play here.
Morehead in the shotgun, hands it off on the end around to Mensah. Mensah finding a hole, breaking through, and he's got some room. Taken down by Kayon Torian at the Greyhound 45. So a really nice run, though, but a flag is down near the offensive line for Episcopal, and it could be another case of a penalty bringing back the Episcopal offense after a big play, and that is how it's going to be. A holding there on the line against the Maroons, so that big Jamal Mensah run will be negated, and the Maroons will move back 10 yards. So another tough play there, as it looked like they were going to break free and have an opportunity to get some points. But now they're back deep in their zone.
Again, another tough break for Episcopal. I noticed there as the ball came around the outside, Bethel, who seemed like he was going to have a play on the ball, was held.
A quick throw there from Morehead, and that one went straight into the ground. And clearly there, Morehead a little frustrated with himself as he missed his man there, Wanell Walker, by a pretty large amount. Little bit short there from Morehead. So 2nd down and long here for Episcopal. Morehead will be in the shotgun, and he'll have Walker out to his right. 4 men wide at wide receiver. He's going to pitch it to Walker, and that time he is quickly picked up by Hank Bethel.
This time Bethel wasn't held, and he's able to get outside and wrap up Walker. Another big play for the defensive end, Hank Bethel, the senior.
And so now it's 3rd down and long, roughly 20 yards here for the Episcopal offense. And a lot to gain here for Morehead and the Maroons.
Also, side note here, I just heard offensive coordinator Rob Ford mention to number 18 on this Hounds roster.
That's Kenny Green.
Kenny Green, that asking him if he's going to be ready in case.
And an interception there from Zachary Dixon. So a big play there for the Greyhounds defense as Dixon comes up with the interception on 3rd and long, and Gilman is going to start their offense deep in Episcopal in the Episcopal zone once again. And so as Jack was mentioning there right before we got the interception from Dixon, it looks like depending on how Ettlinger is feeling, Gilman might be going to their backup quarterback, number 18, Kenny Green, who's a freshman. We'll see who goes out there to go behind center for the Greyhounds, and it looks like it's going to be Ettlinger.
Huge play there for Dixon. As we mentioned prior, he was going to be a player to watch. And also, as I said, going into that drive, the Hounds were going to need a big play, and Dixon comes up, makes the play there.
Ettlinger in the shotgun. Hands it off to Torian, who gets a nice amount of yards there on first down, 4 or 5. The clock now at 5:40, Gilman up 17-14. Would be really nice here for Nick Bach's Greyhounds to get some points. And now a big injury here as the center, Charlie Pope, is down on the field.
Pope down with what looks like it's going to be some kind of lower extremity injury. I'm assuming, yeah, it looks like he's holding his left leg, left calf. Probable cramp here at this stage in the game, but
could be possible.
I'm sorry.
It's a tough situation here for the Greyhounds. Pope being their starting center as of now. The starting center at the beginning of the season was junior Stephen Gladys, who suffered a wrist injury, which is no longer allowing him to be center, but it looks like he's warming up, taking snaps with Josh Ettlinger right now. The probable people who could replace Charlie Pope at center are Gladys, but if he's unable to go, it could most likely be Gage Kreitz.
And one thing that you mentioned prior to that snap, Essex, was the time, 5:36 remaining. We're starting to get into that time in the game where time is definitely going to become a factor here. So keep an eye on that as Episcopal look to pick up the urgency here.
So Pope makes his way back to the bench for Gilman.
Also, a side note, injury update on Conyers. He is now officially heading to the locker room. Helmet off. I would expect not to see him for the remainder of the game.
And something that's traditional in football, if you're unable to return because of a head injury, a coach will take your helmet. And right now, Conyers is walking back to the locker room without a helmet. So he's not going to return because of a head injury. The nice little handoff there from Ettlinger to Cavante Beard. That one will gain about 4 to 5. So an opportunity here on 3rd down and 5 for the Greyhounds in the Episcopal zone. Just over 5 minutes left on the clock here, and that's ticking down. Gilman clearly letting themselves take their time. They'd certainly like to get a touchdown, but a field goal would be nice too.
Yeah, at this point in the game, any points you can take would be helpful. Obviously, field goal here forces them to score a touchdown if they hope to tie or win.
Ettlinger tossing that one out to Torian. Not going to do anything to get close to the first down line. Maybe lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage there. It'll be about 4th and 5, maybe 4th and 4 if we're being generous. It looks like Gilman, though, is going to stay on the field here. Ettlinger under center. Has his running backs in the I formation behind him. It looks like that's Cavante Beard in the fullback. And Torian at running back as Gilman is going to take a timeout. And then there's also a flag down here.
A late flag.
So we'll see what that one is. It looked like Gilman had called a timeout here. The only other, I think for that flag could be a delay of game. But maybe something was said by one of the players walking off the field.
Both teams watching in suspense, but it looks like as they point to the Episcopal team that this is going to be against the Maroons. And that's huge.
That's a killer.
For the Hounds.
It was 4th down.
Could potentially be a first down if they.
And that one's the worst one you can see. If that's an unsportsmanlike conduct at this time in the game, I can imagine that Mark Moros is going to be extremely unhappy with whomever was the one to make that play.
Yep. And it appears, they're going to move that back, and we're going to get ourselves a fresh set of downs for the Hounds here. And at this stage in the game, to get a penalty like that is just
that's
just
a
killer.
Game changer.
And I honestly, I don't want to say I'm not surprised, but this early in the season, you make mistakes like this.
You
do.
do.
Episcopal, this being their first game, you expect to see some mistakes. Obviously, you hope that it's not of this magnitude, a penalty this late in the game that could potentially decide the game at this point. But
Granted, especially, you can understand mistakes where maybe you hold someone, but in this time in the game, you can't understand a mistake where you say something to a ref and give up a 4th down play. I'm sure Morehead is going to be very unhappy with that one. Ettlinger under center here with a fresh set of downs. He's in the Episcopal red zone. He has 2 wide receivers wide to his right, Cam Ward and Jones. He hands it off to Cavante Beard. He'll get nothing there as he was stopped by that Episcopal line. The clock running under 4 minutes here as Gilman will have 2nd and 10. Moved back just a little bit now. It's going to be 2nd and 11. So loss of 1 there on that Cavante Beard run. Ettlinger going to line up under center. Once again, he'll have this time Zachary Dixon behind him. The same wide receivers out to his wide right. That time the handoff again, and Episcopal read that one all the way. Juan-L. Walker walking his way through the Gilman offensive line and taking down Zachary Dixon 4 or 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Gilman offensive line coach, they're furious. I saw Walker sneak up to the to the defensive line prior to the snap. As he usually sits in the second line of defense of the linebackers. However, he was just able to shoot the gap and wrap up Dixon in the backfield.
Ettlinger in the shotgun, looks out wide. It could have been a pass interference there, but no call. Nick Bach not liking the no call there.
I think also a little bit of a miscommunication there. Yeah. Jones came back expecting the ball back while Ettlinger appeared to be throwing a corner route for Kyrie Jones. Either way, 4th and about 18 coming up.
So now a critical 4th down here as Jed Brummett lines up to take this field goal.
Left hash is tough here. However, if he can find a way to put that in, that could be huge for the Hounds here. Another flag down. And it's going to be against the Hounds. That is tough. That just about puts them outside of field goal range. As you can see, camera right now is pointing to our student section, which is about 15 people strong right now.
So the kick here now for Jed Brummett from the 30-yard line. So just under a 40-yard kick here for Brummett.
Oh!
And that one was drilled, but it's wide left. Had the distance, but not the direction.
That was an absolute rip by Brummett. Had that gone in, that could have been game-changing for the Hounds. Either way, though, Episcopal will now take over at about the Gilman, at their own 20-yard line.
The offensive line coach for Gilman sharing a few words with his offensive line as Gilman once again comes out of having really nice field position with no points. And Episcopal has a shot with 2:58 left on the clock to go win this ball game. Morehead in the shotgun. Has enough time, looks out to his flat, and finds Juan-L. Walker. Once again, Walker gets a little bit of a hole. He's breaking through. Not taken back by Torian. Walker keeps going, and it looks like he may have stepped out of bounds.
Another flag, and this play is coming back. A little extracurriculars going on between Hank Bethel and number 68 on this, on this Episcopal team, Taylor Burns. And I noticed Taylor Burns, as the play happened, pointed down as if to say, look, we just got 30 yards. And Bethel said, check out the flag right by your feet, and as this play is coming back again.
He's breaking free. Had to be taken down by Zachary Dixon and James Schloter. A nice gain there of about 15 yards for Walker, and it's a first down for the Maroons. So Episcopal is driving here, 2:30 and counting left on the clock here. So the Maroons certainly have time to either tie this up or win it, but they have to try and run out as much clock as they can. Morehead in the shotgun once again will hand it off to Walker. Walker got to around the edge on the left side, but didn't break free afterwards, only was able to get about 2 yards there on his first down run.
Kayon Torian able to make initial contact with Walker at the line of scrimmage and then eventually able to bring him down for only a gain of 2. Great hustle there by him, especially to bring down a dynamic player like Walker, who's had such a great game. Morehead now.
He's in the shotgun. He'll take the snap. Looks deep to his left side, and it looks like that's going to be.
However, there is laundry on the field as the ref threw his hat there.
I'm wondering what that exactly was. It was an incomplete pass. Zachary Dixon on the defense, but
doesn't look
the ref threw his hat. I wasn't sure if that was to signify maybe where a player had stepped out of bounds or if it was a flag.
No
but
call.
It appears like there's going to be no foul. For some reason, the referee threw some laundry, as Jack said, onto the field. But it's going to be 3rd and 7 here for Episcopal. Morehead in the shotgun. A really nice rush from Bethel there, but he's able to dump it off. Nice defense, though, there from the Greyhounds as they were able to take down Jack Lee in the backfield.
Design screen there by Episcopal. However, Zach Dixon and Cavate Beard able to stay home and wrap the Episcopal wide receiver for a short gain. And now they face a crucial 4th and about 8.
So a timeout here by Episcopal as they have a decision to make here at 4th and 8. Critical down in distance here for the Maroons as there's 1:18 left on the clock. Jack, I think this is the time when they're going to have to go for it. I'd assume that's why they called the timeout, to talk this one over and see how they're going to do it. They have 78 seconds left on the clock to get 3 points or more. 3 to tie, more to win.
I agree. It's undoubtedly a time that you have to go for it here. 1:18 left. There's such a low likelihood you're going to get this ball back if you decide to punt here. So I think 8 yards, totally doable in this game. I mean, they've gotten so many big games that they just keep getting called back for penalties. So I think you just have to be smart here, and put the ball in the hands of your quarterback and trust what he's able to do. However, they may run here. Walker's had a great game at tailback.
He has. He's done a really nice job.
He's been very explosive and able to hit the hole hard here. So I guess we'll see.
This could be the game right here, as Fen Colston said. Morehead in the shotgun. Not going to hand it off. He's going to run it himself. Has a hole, and he has a whole lot of room to get the first down there and more, as Morehead looked like he dropped back and then noticed the hole, took the ball, and got the 15-yard gain there for Episcopal to gain the first down.
Very heads-up play there by the sophomore quarterback Morehead, able to take the snap, survey, and get downfield.
The clock is running here as we're on a minute now for Episcopal. And Morehead's going to go no huddle for the Maroons. Back to pass is Morehead. He looks to his right. Has Barry Curtis open, and Curtis caught that ball. There's a flag down, though, but Barry Curtis came down with that ball on the Gilman 15-yard line.
If this play gets called as a catch, that would be absolutely phenomenal. It went up. Great catch by Schloter, defense by Schloter. However, I expect them to call pass interference on him. He wasn't able to get his head around. But fantastic concentration by number 8.
That's Barry Curtis.
Barry Curtis, who was able to make that grab after bobbling it and then hitting the ground. He was able to reel that ball in.
And so now it's a real tough position for the Greyhounds. I think what the distinction is here, what they're trying to figure out, is the sidelines. I think the referees assume that the sideline was yellow, but the sideline is actually the blue, very hard to see line here. So they're trying the wide receiver for Episcopal. And if that's a call against Gilman, it's certainly a tough one, but it's just tough in that situation to give pass interference to anybody.
It's tough there. It's back-to-back pass interference plays. However, important distinction to make is that if the defensive back, which in both cases he did not, if he does not get his head turned around and he only reaches a hand up, yet he makes contact with the receiver, it's going to be called pass interference because you're deemed not making an actual play on the ball because you can't see where it is. It's considered face guarding, and they're going to call pass interference 9 times out of 10 if you don't get your head around.
41 seconds left here on the clock. First and goal. Morehead in the shotgun. Hands it off there, and eaten up is Juan L. Walker by that Gilman line. Cavante Beard, the main man there on the tackle. The clock is running here, so Episcopal's got to move. Morehead checking in with his coaches quickly, but it's going to be no huddle as he rushes his team on.
If you're the Hounds here, you have to protect the end zone. Force them to kick a field goal here.
You'd certainly rather give up the field goal. Morehead in the shotgun, going deep. And a catch there and a touchdown for Jamal Mensah. And Episcopal is up by 3 with 13 seconds left. A beautifully tossed ball coming from Morehead.
That is just brutal. Hounds in a game where it seemed like they were in control the whole time. Now allow a last-second touchdown to Episcopal, and it's ironic considering last year this game ended on a last-second play, except it happened to be in the Hounds' favor. So that's tough.
But field goal here to push this lead to 4. And that one is good off the foot of Paul Pivaroto.
As we can hear, however, as we can hear in the student section, this game is not over. 13 seconds still remain on the clock. Let's see if the Hounds can do anything.
So 13 seconds left on the clock here. Gilman down by 4. There's time left. Seconds left. Gilman down by 4. So they might have an opportunity to return it and then maybe get a play or two in. Back to return for the Greyhounds. Only the single man, that's Kyrie Jones.
If you're the Hounds here, I got to expect some kind of trickery here. However, I would expect the same thing from the Episcopal kicking team here as they hope to not allow any easy points for the Hounds at the end of this game.
So now it's go time for both teams. Episcopal very close to getting out of Baltimore with an unbelievable win as he squibs it away, recovered by DeLeon at the Gilman 30-yard line. 13 seconds left on the clock here for Gilman to go 70 yards. A touchdown will only do it. A field goal will still put them down by 1. We'll have to see what Nick Bach and Robert Ford draw up for the Greyhounds here. It's certainly going to have to be a fascinating play for them to get this one off, as the Episcopal team is all lined up now on their sideline, arm in arm, what seems to be some sort of prayer or something to hope that they can get out of here with a win.
Timeout, probably.
Looks like just
the ref's calling time. Make sure everything's right prior to this.
Etlinger in the shotgun. He has Cavante Beard to his left. 4 wide receivers wide. Looks short for the first time, had Kyrie Jones. The Greyhounds are going to have to call a timeout, and they do. 6 seconds left on the clock here for the Greyhounds. That was about a 15-yard pass from Etlinger to Jones.
So now here, I think 6 seconds, no timeouts. I think you got to be the smart thing to do here is look for a quick out to the sideline, which is going to take about 3-4 seconds, possibly even 5, just to get into the arm range of Etlinger, who can hopefully put this one in the end zone.
Chase Drew now attempting to get the Gilman bench to put in Robert Gronkowski. Less Michael Malice, I think that would be a poor choice, but Rob Gronkowski could certainly help. Certainly a tough down and distance for the Greyhounds to get anything to go here. They're at the 37-yard line, so a whole lot left to go with 6 seconds left on the clock. Gilman could be in this one with a gasp. Etlinger in the shotgun.
Trips to his left here. The offensive line really needed a hold here.
4 wide receivers wide. As Jack said, trips to the left. The low snap from Etlinger. Incomplete. There's 4 seconds left on the clock.
However, I will say I do not know how effective that play would have been had he caught that ball. That would have been tough. He would have been on the ground. No timeouts left for Gilman. So now you're in miracle mode here for the Hounds. You got to just hope for the best.
No good there from Etlinger, and that is the ball game as that one goes incomplete, and a heartbreaking loss as it looks like they're going to put time back on the clock for the Greyhounds here. There's one more play, 2 seconds left on the clock.
Let's go.
One more play for the Greyhounds, but there's not a whole lot of room left as the referees are still talking about time. Episcopal is lining up like they're getting ready to shake hands, but I think there's still some time left in this ball game. The Gilman players are heading to the bench.
Yeah, I think they're gonna call. Actually,
we're gonna stop speculating. We're just gonna let this play out, and then we'll tell you what happens. As it looks like Episcopal is lining up. The referees are still talking it out. Gilman is requesting 2 seconds pumped up back on the clock, and it looks like that's going to be the ball game as the referees are just going to answer the prayers by walking off the ball field. So that's it here from Gilman as they suffer a heartbreaking 4th loss here against the Maroons from Episcopal, winning 17 to 21. It was a wonderful game here. We appreciate you all joining us. Jack, any final words before we sign off here?
I just want to say thank you to our viewers, and obviously it's a tough one for the Hounds, but they came out with intensity we haven't seen all year, so I think that's something positive to look upon. I mean, obviously there's a lot to improve upon going into I believe we're starting conference play soon.
The next game will be conference play for us on Greyhound TV and also for the Greyhounds. Our remaining coverage for the football team will resume once again on Friday, October 5th, when the Hounds go away to Calvert Hall at 7 p.m. We'll also have coverage. Our next game for soccer also is against Calvert Hall. That game will be on Monday. So Episcopal is going to head home to Virginia with a wonderful win, a comeback win that is, here against Gilman. They're clearly excited, and unfortunately Gilman's going to go home with one they'd probably like back. Thank you all for tuning in to Greyhound TV. We appreciate you joining us on this lovely afternoon, and we wouldn't be able to do it without you, but also the technical crew behind us. We appreciate them so much. Thank you for tuning in. Wheatley, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you soon. Alongside Jack Tortolani, I've been Essex Thayer. Thank you so much, and good night.